Hey guys, right off the bat, I want to apologize for some static sounds that you hear throughout this podcast. Just the joy of recording remotely. I guess we had some phone interference or something like that. Hopefully it's not too distracting because this is one of my favorite episodes so far. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hello, welcome back to the True Crime Guys podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Michael.
Man, feels like it's been a minute, doesn't it?
It has. It's been like 2 weeks.
It's been hectic. Things have been crazy.
It has.
Well, we to be fair, we also lost an episode, and all. So it feels probably longer, even more so for you guys than it does for us.
Right. It always feels like recording day just sneaks up on me.
Yeah, you're probably got a busy life out there now too, huh?
I do, man. It's you know how it is because you live like close to your family. There's always things going on. People always want to do stuff or need your car or need you to pick up
pesky
so-and-so.
ass people.
Yeah,
they just keep you away from what you really want to do, which is like what you want to do. You know,
exactly.
They always want to do what they want to do, bastards.
It is. You got to find a balance, though. I talked about that on Higher Thoughts. I talked about how it's good to be around. It's good to help family and, kind of create that, I don't know, that persona, that idea of yourself where your family starts to embrace you. You know what I mean? Like you want them to feel good about you because that's how your legacy gets carried on is through your family and through your friends. But at the same time, it's like if you're just constantly saying yes to everything, you'll have nothing left.
Yep.
And it's like, you'll look good in everyone else's life, but your own life, you didn't enjoy very much, because you were doing what everybody else wanted to do.
Yeah, you got to say no sometimes, and I think they respect you more too when you say no sometimes, and you don't. You're not too eager to be loved by everyone all the time,
That's right, and they appreciate it when you do commit because your time's worth more.
Yeah. That being said, it feels like we have such a business relationship now, doesn't it? Like we jump on, we're like, "What's up, dude? All right, let's record this." Like this is genuinely like us catching up when we start the recording thing now. It's like because we almost don't want to talk beforehand and like ruin the actual conversation and like have to redo it again during the thing. But
that's right. It does feel weird just checking in with you.
Yeah, it's all good though. You know what?
We'll make it work.
You know what? Good friends, they always like one of my best friends, this dude Dustin. Like sometimes we don't talk for like 6 months, and then when we do talk, it's like we never stopped talking. It's like it's all the same. It's all good.
Right. That's so great to have low maintenance friends like that.
Yeah.
That's what I call them. Low maintenance friends. People you can just check in with, and they're cool, and you just have a good time, and then you separate for a little while.
You podcast, and then you separate until the next recording.
Right.
Now, your Panthers we have to talk about because they've been on a tear. They have been on a tear, but today, we'll see.
We will see.
You know what? I have to say, I think the Panthers got us, and you know why I'm saying this?
Don't say that, you bastard. You bastard motherfucker.
I gotcha.
Don't you put that
I gave my vote of confidence. I said that they sucked last time, and then they kept winning. Now I'm giving my vote of confidence to the Panthers as they're going to beat my 49ers
We don't
today.
deserve it. Just hold on to it.
I believe in the Panthers, dude. This Kyle Allen kid has got something special.
We really appreciate it. But that Nick Bosa is just too much to handle.
Oh, it's a good one today, man. We got to get done with this recording so we can check this game out, man.
Yeah, at least it's the late
undefeated
game,
49ers and the Panthers that feel undefeated ever since shithead
Kyle Allen.
Cam Newton got out of the lineup and let the young kid play.
Well, we'll see, man.
No, Cam's still great. He's something. Obviously, something was bothering him. He couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards.
Listen, if Cam can't run over linebackers, he's not Cam. He's got to be able to do that.
The shelf life for running quarterbacks is just not quite the same as guys like Tom Brady who never get touched.
That's right.
So we all know Cam's not going to play 20 years like fucking Brady did. You just can't when you're running over linebackers and stuff.
No, especially not that big body lumbering that thing around, man. That's hard on you. Hard on them joints.
Yeah. Right. So how's the Halloween season treating you and the fam? You guys hitting any pumpkin patches or anything like that?
Yeah, the kids go for school every year. So they got to go. I had to work, obviously. But they had fun, man. They got like these big slides they make out of those big like sewer tubes.
Nice.
Obviously they're new. But yeah.
Sliding down on shit.
It's better if they're used. They're a lot slipperier. But yeah, they have a good time. They go pick out a pumpkin, draw on it, get some apple cider, all that good stuff, which I love apple cider. Dude, I can drink apple cider all day.
Yeah, love it, love it. We had a little trunk or treat thing up in our little community yesterday. That
Nice.
was fun, and also like actually this case has added a lot to the Halloween season for me because I don't get the chance to watch as many scary movies as I like to do during the Halloween season.
Right.
Because with the kids, it's just like always Paw Patrol's on TV, I can't. Every time I turn it off, we try to put it on the tablet for them, but I can't have
Yeah.
freaking like Halloween, Michael Myers slaying people with my kid right there because he's
Right.
gonna still look at the TV. So
Oh, he's
this
gonna
case though,
definitely just look at the TV. He's gonna be like,
oh
"Fuck Paw
for sure,
Patrol. I'm checking this
yeah.
out."
Yeah, this lady just got freaking like stabbed through her neck. That's crazy.
Exactly. Kids love that stuff. They can't look away.
Yeah.
Then they
So,
hate it.
but this audio book, I've been able to put on the headphones while I'm hanging out with the fam and listen to this, and it's kept me because it's a creepy book, dude, and like creepy case. I'm not all that into the paranormal stuff, but this
Right.
one was a good one. Like as far as that goes, like this book gave me chills at times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure, man. It's that kind of. It's got some backup to it. It's like if you believe in this or if you believe it's a hoax, I can kind of see your point.
right,
You know what I mean? The
yeah,
more you look into it, it's kind of hard to really make concrete choice, yes or no. And I think that's what's gave it so much success in the media. That's why it keeps getting redone. Was there like 30 movies made about
right, right.
this?
Yeah, there was a lot of circumstantial stuff that would lead you to believe that they weren't lying. That being the Lutz family that moved into this house, which we'll get into all the crazy details, but the fact that they bought this house at a like really underpriced, like this beautiful home in a nice area, sitting on the water, for like a third of what it should have costed, and then within what was it? Within 28 days, they moved out
Yeah.
and just left all their shit behind. Like
Like, we don't even care.
it's like that's really going a long way to sell your story of seeing ghosts and stuff, And then also like there were witnesses, like police said that they had weird experiences, and like the priest, obviously.
Priest, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll get into all of that, but we'll start with the crimes that made this town and this house infamous, and then the potential ghost stuff after that. So go ahead and cue the intro. Let's get into this.
There was nothing but bad in that house. I was gonna burn it to the ground. That's the truth. I was gonna burn it to the ground. I just pray to God it don't happen to nobody else. That's why I told you. Anybody buys that house and got kids and move in there, come on, man. You really gotta be. Something wrong with you.
The lyrics to the following song are not our own. They belong to an online poem entitled The Amityville Horror. The earliest posting I could find for said poem was in 2014 by a user named Neptune Omega. So whoever the author is, it's really obvious what they're trying to portray in this poem. The words are blunt. The words are honest. They take you back to that night. It was just missing that one thing all my favorite poems have. Music.
The night gets dark, my mind continues to go back, recalling memories of terror about an island far away. Memories so frightening and cold as the white snow winter, inspired by stories told about blood and murder. In a small town, in a silent house, hidden from the eyes of men, unholy slaughter takes place. In a town called Amityville, inside the house of hell, there are always voices of the dead. As the night gets dark, my mind continues to go back, Calling memories of terror about an island far away.
All the ghost stuff is bullshit.
All right, our case this week is the Amityville Horror.
Never heard of it.
The crimes, yeah. Who hasn't heard of this one? Like you said, there's been a million movies and books made about it.
Right, but you're probably very confused if you haven't looked into this. You're probably very confused. That's how I was.
You didn't really know much. You hadn't seen any of the. Had you seen any of the movies or anything going into this?
I've seen some, yeah, but I can't tell you which ones I had seen. And then I also can't tell you which parts go to which movies. I'm like that confused about it. It's been a long
they
time.
all kind of blend together. They do. I remember more so the one with Ryan Reynolds more than anything because that was the most recent one. And I remember seeing, I don't know if I saw it in theaters, but I know I definitely saw it.
That was 2005.
Yeah, so it's still been freaking 14 years since then, which is crazy to think. But I remember seeing that one when it came out and enjoying it. But I don't think I knew much back then about really what had gone on and stuff, and never really looked extensively into it. I just kind of heard there was murders in this house, and then there's ghosts and whatnot going on afterwards.
Right off the bat, dude, I don't believe in ghosts. So
me neither.
This didn't really attract me, like to look into it throughout my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that being said,
I didn't really put any stock into it.
The book, I think the older I get, the more I start to lean towards it, because I was always like, ghosts, whatever, you know, but like the older I get, the more I start to just kind of like allow the at least inkling of the idea of maybe there's spirits that are among us, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe they have an ability to affect our surroundings and physical, nature around us, which there's an explanation for the cold that they were experiencing in the home. Supposedly that's the spirit or the ghost sucking. They need to absorb heat in order to be able to affect the physical world.
Right.
So like when the room would get cold all of a sudden, that means they were moving something or doing something physically, grabbing you along those lines.
Right. And I guess to be fair, when I say that I don't believe in ghosts, I mean to say I have no reason to believe in ghosts because I've never experienced anything like that. But I also know how powerful the mind is. The mind can make you see some crazy shit.
Right.
Like especially if you're afraid, or especially if ideas of murder and gore and ghosts have already been planted into your subconscious. And now you're in a high
Well, you're living, especially if you're living in a house where 6 people were just slain, an entire family.
Right.
Were just slain, and you bought it like a year later, you know.
Exactly.
And everyone else is afraid of it. Then you have more of a tendency to be hyper aware of every little noise that's made, all that type of thing.
But with that being said, do I want to stay at the Amityville Horror House? No,
hell no.
I do not.
Hell no. No.
So
what's crazy?
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like I'm keeping an open mind.
Yeah, it's funny too. The timing of us doing this case is literally we got our keys to our house that we just bought.
Dude,
like
was
yesterday.
somebody killed there?
No, not that I know of. We didn't ask though.
Right. That's not something you ask. But it's
now
something
you mentioned
that should
there was
told.
this odd blood spatter on the walls that we had to repaint. So I don't know.
I don't know, right?
No.
Oh, jeez.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of odd because we were like starting to move stuff into this empty home right now as I'm reading this freaking book.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
It's probably fine.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's no demon pigs running around yet. So.
Right. Good. Just keep a sharp eye, man.
Right. I think I talked about it on this podcast. The only experience I could say where maybe I experienced some kind of a ghost situation was I told you I was in bed one night and I felt this pressure on my feet. Yeah. And I thought the dog had like jumped on the bed and was laying on my feet, and I looked and there was nothing there. But it could have been one of the dog or the cat jumped on my feet, and before I like opened my eyes and looked down there, they jumped off because by the time I looked, the pressure was gone.
Yeah, cats
strange.
Can move without making any sound, man. My cats jump on me all the time while I'm sleeping, and I have no idea they're coming either. They're excellent predators.
Dude.
They could kill me if they were
right?
bigger. Yeah.
There's literally times we've been living in a tiny trailer for like 8 months, and if we don't want to, like, if we're looking for the cat and she doesn't want us, we cannot fucking find her. Like, we're like, the cat obviously got out. Like, we better start looking around the yard.
We're like, what is this, 700 square feet? We gotta find this bitch.
Dude, not even. It's like 300 square feet, and she fucking disappears. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden, she'll just be like standing behind us. We turn around, there she is. Where the fuck did you come from? Crazy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
It's funny. Yeah, so let's get into it. So let's start at the beginning. 30 miles outside of New York City, nestled in the Long Island town of Amityville, stands the house forever linked to the Amityville horror phenomenon. On November 13th, 1974, the estate was the scene of a mass murder using a .35 Marlin rifle. 23-year-old Ronald J. DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family while they slept, which included his parents and 4 siblings. 13 months later, the Lutz family purchased the 5-bedroom, 3.5-bath home at a drastically reduced price of $80,000 due to the murders, but only lasted 28 days before leaving it. Their spine-tingling tales of paranormal activity is what propelled the legend of the Amityville Horror, America's most haunted house, and spawned a torrent of books, documentaries, and films. The book that we got for this case was the Amityville Horror, written in 1977, shortly after the events of the Lutz family moving into it. It's called Amityville Horror, A True Story. It was published in September of 1977.
This kind of spawned the whole.
I can't remember.
This book kind of spawned the whole craze that surrounded this Amityville Horror.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Wouldn't you agree? Like this is what kind of got that fire burning.
Yeah, and supposedly the Lutz family they sat down and they did these recordings. These, like, you imagine in the 70s what kind of you had to be like the Mindhunter type recordings with the little spinning tape and all that.
Oh, right.
They sat down with the tape recorder and they recorded themselves shortly after the events, and gave detailed description of everything that happened during that 28 days they were there. And that's what they based this book off of. The author sat down with them, listened to these recordings. They gave their consent. They made a lot of money off these books. So if that's one that that's
what
one
I was just about to say.
That's one side of it that would maybe lead you to believe, yeah, they're full of shit.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. They're like, oh, let's buy this house for a bargain. We know we can probably always get our money back, even if they just demolish it, and then we'll live in it, create some crazy stories, sell some books, make a lot of money.
Right.
And then sell the house and make more money.
Exactly. So, I mean, but we'll get into all that, all the stuff that happened in there. It supposedly happened to them during that 28-day span. It did still legitimately freak me out because it was so well written, this book, that it gets you kind of like sucked into this family. You feel like you're living in this house with them, and then like little by little, crazier and crazier stuff starts to happen. You know, so it scared me. Like, it creeped me out more so than the movies that I saw about this case.
Wow, really?
It did, yeah, man. I got into it with the audiobook. It was well done.
Okay,
So.
Interesting.
So let's dive into the actual crime, though, that happened that led to this house becoming haunted, supposedly. Well, supposedly it was actually some type of a Native American burial ground situation as well.
Right.
There was not so much a burial ground, but it was a Native American shelter where sick and dying people were kept. Mm-hmm. Way back, and then also there was some occult weirdo that was buried like at the northeast corner of the property at this home.
Right, wasn't his last name Ketchum?
Yeah, it was something along those lines. Yeah.
Ketchum? Yeah, he was like some sort of cult leader, artist type, and he lived near the property.
Yeah,
and wanted
he
to
was
be
buried
buried on the
at
property.
the property.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the family found some well. The father, supposedly the Lutz father, found a well that had been like kind of buried in the concrete in the foundation of the home. There's like a little hole, and you could see down in there, and supposedly that's where the spirits were coming out of the well. And then he never, like, in the book, they never said that he tried to cover that because, like,
I was about to say, just put like a brick over it or something.
Right.
Like,
Problem solved, bitch.
Dude, what the hell?
Can't get out now, can you, demons? Can't move bricks.
Right. I mean, I feel like this is a simple solution. Put a little caulk in there, man, depending on how big the hole is. You know what I'm saying? You good to go.
Right.
I don't see why this is a problem.
What's that shit that Billy Mays used to sell? some of that in there.
Spray insulation?
Yeah, whatever that shit is.
Yeah, put some of that in
make
there.
your boat float again if it had a hole in it.
Yeah, it's like a spray patch.
Yeah.
That's what you need, man. You just need a little spray patch on that, man.
Right? Oh, shit. Demons flooding into your house from a old well?
Not anymore. A couple sprays from spray patch.
Yeah.
You'll
Rest
be
in
demon
peace,
free.
Billy Mays. He was one of the best.
Yeah, he
The best
was.
to ever do it. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the crimes. Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. was born September 26, 1951 in Brooklyn, New York. He shares a birthday with Serena Williams and Olivia Newton-John. Pretty good group there. You know,
Yeah,
you got
really.
a great tennis, one of the greatest tennis players ever, and then you got I forget her name in Greece. That's really all I know her from. Olivia Newton-John.
Oh,
She was
yeah.
the lead actress in Greece.
She's done way more than that, but I'm drawing a blank as well.
Yeah, I mean, but she's a little before our time, really.
Fair
and
enough.
probably a lot of our audience's time, too. DeFeo was the oldest of 5 children born to Ronald, a successful car salesman, and Louise DeFeo. Ronald Sr. worked at his father-in-law's Brooklyn Buick dealership and provided the family with a comfortable upper-class middle lifestyle. He also served as a domineering authority figure and engaged in hot-tempered fights with his wife and children. The most frequent target of abuse, however, was their oldest child, Butch, whom they expected much of. The oldest son they expected a lot out of, and he wasn't
that's
living
normal.
up to their expectations.
That's always. Yeah, I feel
it?
like that's always.
Is that what I have to try and avoid as a father? With this, my son's the oldest of the two. I got to try not to expect too much from him.
Yeah, you're going to expect a lot of them. You're going to expect them to watch out for your sister and take care of her. And
Oh, I
don't do
already
that
do.
because she's going to
Oh,
do
that's-
that. She's doing that because she's watching you. You can't do
that's
that.
the
You got
most
to think
trouble he
about
gets
her.
into already.
Yep.
It's is like either he hurts his sister, either intentionally or accidentally, or yeah.
Yeah, that's and it still hasn't gone away for my younger two, because he's the
Yeah.
older brother and then she's the younger sister, and they're about 4 years apart. So
Yeah, it's like in F is for Family. You're the little baby can't do any wrong, little baby girl.
yep, that's right.
If you hurt her, I'll put you through that fucking wall.
Put you through that fucking wall.
Yep. And so Butch wasn't living up to the parents' expectations, and it only got worse at school, where the overweight and brooding boy was the victim of relentless taunting from his classmates. As DeFeo matured, he began lashing out physically against his father as well as his new friends. His concerned family took him to a psychiatrist, but the visits didn't sit well with DeFeo, who denied that he needed any help. The trips to the doctor stopped, and in their place, the DeFeos used the incentive of cash and presents, including a $14,000 speedboat, in the hopes that the gifts would placate their troubled son.
What
But
the hell?
Yeah, if your
I'm
son's
seeing a few
really
issues
lashing out,
here.
just buy more stuff for him, right? That's a
Just
great.
keep encouraging that. Just show how afraid of him you are. He needed a
Hey,
good ass whooping, dude.
Son, you got expelled. We're really disappointed, and to show you our disappointment, we bought you a speedboat. Go take
Now,
it out on the
please,
waters.
Go out on the lake. Maybe they just wanted him to like die out there or something. They're like, he doesn't know how to drive a boat. Exactly.
Exactly.
The kid's creeping me
Brilliant.
out.
He crashes it, he dies, and we get the insurance money payout.
Right, and he doesn't kill us.
Yeah. The new tactic only made the problems worse. Shocker. By the age of 17, DeFeo had become an LSD and heroin user and was expelled from school for his violent outbursts. In spite of his academic setbacks, the DeFeos continued to reward their son. At the age of 18, DeFeo received a prized possession at his grandfather's car dealership with little to no expectations. So he got a brand new car now. Speedboat for
No,
getting
I
into
think
trouble.
he got a job. He gave him a job.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'm sure he gave him a
And so
car
now-
too. You know he got a car.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
sure
you're
he was
working at your grandfather's car dealership. You got a car.
and he was obviously a great employee, right? Selling cars like crazy.
Probably the best. Probably every
No.
time he didn't make a sale, his grandfather gave him a raise.
Yeah, so he also earned a weekly stipend from his father, regardless of his attendance or job performance at work.
See?
DeFeo funneled his salary into his new car, another present from his parents, as well as guns, alcohol, and drugs. Yeah, so
Jesus.
just keep rewarding him with speedboats, cars, and you know
Right.
what? Give him some guns. He's really really well adjusted.
He seems
mentally.
well grounded to me. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, so let's get into some of the conflicts with his father. DeFeo's strange behavior seemed to only increase with time. He threatened a friend with a rifle during a hunting trip, then later that day acted as if nothing happened. He also attempted to shoot his father with a 12-gauge shotgun during a fight between his parents. DeFeo pulled the trigger at point-blank range, but the gun malfunctioned.
yeah, this right here, this is the time where he needs that ass whooped right now. Like, you've already waited too late. He just tried to kill you.
Dude, I
You
know.
what I mean? Like, this changes everything.
The love that parents have for their children is like, knows no bounds. I understand all that, how parents stand by even like their serial killer kids and all that. But like, dude, your son puts a 12 gauge to your head and pulls the trigger, and the only thing that stopped that from like actually murdering you was the gun malfunction. Like, whew, that's tough.
That kid's
to get
out of
past
here.
for
Let me tell you
That's
why.
tough.
Because let me tell you why. Because I have other children that I
Yeah.
love just as much, and I'm not
Right.
gonna have put them and my wife in danger for your crazy ass. Like that just
Exactly.
wouldn't happen, man. Like
Yeah,
if
like
it's
you
your
said,
only
getting
child,
that ass whooped. Getting that ass whooped
Yep.
with that shotgun.
That's-
I'm beating the brakes off of that. Like, you tried to kill me, motherfucker.
he fuck out of him.
Yeah.
That's at that because he's a man, right? At this, he killed him at 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's a man.
Yeah, we're talking man age now.
Yeah.
Yep. His surprised father ended the argument was left stunned by the confrontation. The incident foreshadowed the more violent events to come. In 1974, DeFeo, feeling irritated by what he believed to be a meager salary, plotted methods of embezzling money from the car dealership. So just everything they've given him is not
never
enough.
enough.
But, I mean, it's really their fault at this point. Obviously he wasn't well-adjusted growing up, but it seems like this is more nurture than nature with him.
Agreed.
To me, they raised a spoiled freaking brat is what they did.
Yep. 100%.
And maybe he would have had mental issues either way, but they definitely made it worse with their behavior. In late October, the dealership entrusted him with the responsibility of depositing more than $20,000 to the bank.
Why would they do that? What
Unbelievable,
in this
right?
kid's character leads you to believe he is capable of handling that much money responsibly?
We need to find a trusty employee of this car dealership to do the most important task, which is take the week's earnings to the bank.
Right? He's
I
over there
can't think of
shuffling through
anyone
somebody else's desk. Huh?
Better than old Butch, who shows up late every fucking day, bitching, probably has coke on his fucking mustache, like drugged out of his mind. Unbelievable.
Right? He's
You
over
know-
there trying to borrow $1 from somebody.
Yeah. Maybe the fact that he had his own speedboat helped. Like maybe the fucking bank was across the river or something, and he's like, Butch has got a boat. He can get there quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I think there was probably nobody else.
Yeah. To no one's surprise, DeFeo planned a mock robbery with a friend, agreeing to split the money evenly with his accomplice. The plan went off without a hitch until the police came to the dealership to question him. Instead of calmly answering the officer's questions, DeFeo exploded into rage. When police, suspicious that DeFeo was lying, asked him to come into the station to check out mugshots of possible suspects, he refused to comply. Ronald Sr. began to suspect that his son had committed the robbery.
Wait a minute.
But when he questioned his son about the lack of cooperation with police, DeFeo threatened to kill him.
Wow.
This time, the gun's
There we
not going to malfunction.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus. So this takes us to the inevitable murder of the family. In the early morning hours of November 13th, 1974, DeFeo acted on his threat using a .35 caliber Marlin rifle from his secret gun stash. He entered his parents' bedroom and shot them both while they slept. He then entered his brother's bedroom, shooting them both in the head while sleeping in their beds. He ended by shooting his sisters point blank in their bedrooms as well. All of the murders took place within 15 minutes. DeFeo then showered, dressed for work, and collected his bloody clothing and the murder weapon in a pillowcase. He dumped the evidence in a storm drain on the way to work at the dealership at 6 a.m. It's probably the first time he was ever on time to work.
Yeah.
That's probably one thing that made the police suspicious.
Wait a minute. He showed up on time when?
Right? The night after his family's murder. He's at work drinking coffee 15 minutes early.
Right, he's already made a sale.
Yep. Upon arriving at work, DeFeo called home, pretending not to know why his father hadn't shown up for work, saying he was bored around noon. He then left and spent the day with friends. He attempted to secure an alibi by telling each of the people he visited that he could not seem to reach anyone at home. At 6 p.m., he called a friend in mock surprise, saying that someone had broken into the house and shot his family. So I get the feeling when he was hanging out with friends, they're probably a bunch of douchebags like him doing drugs and shit together. Like, I don't think he ever talked about, like, oh, I can't get a hold of my family. Like, I don't think he gave a shit, Like, he seems all of a sudden concerned for his family when he tried to kill his dad before, Like, I don't
Right.
think... It's clear he doesn't like his family, and all of a sudden he's acting like, I can't get a hold of him. What's going on?
Yeah.
To me, like, his friends must have been like, dude, what's going on here?
Oh, yeah. They're definitely suspicious of him.
Yeah. So the investigation with the police, friends came to the home and contacted authorities when a Suffolk County detective questioned DeFeo about who could be a suspect in these murders. He told him he believed mafia hitman Louis Fellini may have been responsible. This reminds me quite a bit of the Menendez brothers. How they
Yes.
killed their own parents and then they tried to act like it was a mob hit.
Very similar. Very similar.
Many years before the Menendez brothers. So this is like the original, the OG Menendez brother.
The OG
here.
Menendez right here.
He was a spoiled brat, just like them too.
Oh,
Crazy. A
whoa.
lot of similarities.
Good observation, Lauren.
Thank you.
Might be getting onto something here.
DeFeo cited an old grudge between the made man and the family over some work DeFeo did for him at a dealership. He then told police he had been up late watching TV and unable to sleep, left for work early. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
He said he believed the family was alive when he left for work. He then told them of the whereabouts for the rest of that day. Police placed DeFeo in protective custody as they searched for a suspect. So they initially believed him. And of course, they started to put a lot of stuff together. But you know what I was thinking about when I was describing the murders is it's suspicious that he used a high-powered rifle, right? 35 caliber. I guess that's not that high caliber. It's
Right.
like not much bigger than a 22 or something. But he used a rifle to kill all of these, and they were all like, as far as like the investigation afterwards, it's known that they all were like sleeping when he shot them, like they were lying face down. And it's odd that none of them woke up, you know? Like, how was he able to shoot all of them in their sleep with a rifle? And, like, supposedly none of the neighbors heard any noise either. They didn't hear any gunshots.
Yeah, that is kind of suspicious. And there was no silencer on the gun. That was one of the first things I thought of. I was like, he must have had a silencer, right?
Right.
I mean, because wouldn't the other kids get up to flee? But, I mean, if he's 23 and he's not the oldest, right?
I think he is the oldest son,
Oh,
yeah.
he is the oldest. Well, so he's 23, so all of his siblings are younger than him and probably all look up to him. And hearing those shots, they may not have woke up immediately. I mean, my kids have slept through thunderstorms, man, where it's like rattling the house.
Yeah, no doubt.
They don't even flinch. But I mean,
And it's a big
obviously
house.
if he
It's
shot
a pretty
one of
big
the
house.
children first, then he'd have a fight on his hands because the father or mother's going to wake up.
Right.
But shooting them first. But it is strange that the mother wouldn't have, jolted up.
Yeah, it's odd no one heard anything.
As far as
None of the neighbors,
right.
the other family members.
I was thinking, like, as far as the choice of rifle, I'm pretty sure he was using whatever he could get his hands on at the time, because if his dad was smart, which he seemed like he was, he probably took all the guns. He knew where all the guns were in his house. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and then
Yeah, he said the gun was supposedly from his hidden stash, wherever that was.
right. So he
the
had to
boathouse
use
or
whatever his dad didn't know about. So that's
Yep.
probably why he just chose that.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I don't know how no one heard anything like that. And it's also odd that they were all sleeping on their stomachs. Like, out of what was it, 6 family members, like the parents and then the 3 siblings or the 4 siblings or whatever. Like, how are they? You just think statistically, like, do you sleep on your stomach? Because I sleep on my back. I think most people sleep on their back or on their side, not on their stomach. It's not good for you to sleep on your stomach.
Right. I
But,
sleep on my stomach sometimes. I
out of
sleep
the
on my
whole
stomach with
family.
like one leg up.
It's almost like, it almost feels as though he like held him at gunpoint and told him to lay face down. To me, like maybe the first ones were awoken and then he bullied them and at gunpoint made them lay face down where he shot them because he didn't want to look at them. Something along those lines.
Oh, yes. That's a good point. That would make a lot more sense. Because you're right. Because when all my kids sleep different, and they sleep different every night.
Yeah, just the odds
The
of all
chances
6
of
of them
all 6.
being face down like that.
Yeah, he probably did tell him to turn around. Because
Yeah.
they probably did wake up after the first ones, and he was like, "Get back in bed,
Yeah.
face your pillow or something."
So
Yeah, that's rough.
after police more carefully searched the family's house, DeFeo's testimony began to crumble. Finding an empty box for a recently purchased 35 caliber Marlin gun in DeFeo's room gave authorities pause.
Don't.
Yeah, come on, bro.
He got rid of the
Jesus.
gun, but not the box.
Fucking idiot.
I might want to return that.
Yeah. As the timeline came together, it seemed more realistic that the murders had happened early in the morning. The family had still been wearing their pajamas, so it couldn't have happened earlier in the day. Placing DeFeo at the home at the time of the homicides. When authorities questioned DeFeo about the new evidence, he began changing his story. He said that Fellini, the mob boss, had appeared at the house early that morning and put a revolver to DeFeo's head. He then said Fellini had an accomplice drag him through room to room as they murdered his family. As the story unraveled, police extradited a confession from DeFeo. He finally broke down and said, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop." He said it went so fast. So he finally gives in. He's just not mentally tough or physically tough dude. He was a spoiled little brat. So
Yeah.
police being real men were able to break this dude pretty easily.
Yeah.
You know, once they started facing him with any real evidence, he didn't have any answers for it.
No, he didn't think this through. This was just a passionate rage, and he always gets what he wants, so he acted on what he wanted at the exact time.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
all
like,
this
why?
is.
What would the mob boss have to gain from dragging you through and tormenting you by killing your whole family and then not killing you, like just letting you
Right.
free?
Exactly.
Because
What did
they
you do?
love living witnesses to their crimes, right? Mob people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pff, definitely, dude. They loose ends all over the place. The more loose ends, the better.
Right. So his trial began October 14th, 1975, nearly a year from the date of the murders. DeFeo's defense attorney, William Weber, attempted an insanity plea for him, and the murder suspect told jurors that he heard voices that told him to kill his family. The psychiatrist for the defense, Dr. Daniel Schwartz, supported the claim, saying DeFeo was neurotic and suffered from dissociative disorder.
I think that's accurate. I think he probably disassociated with life in general because his life was so damn easy.
Yes.
And he got what he wanted. And plus, he was on psychedelics a lot. You're going to start to feel disconnected.
Yes. Yeah, LSD, man. We talked about
Yes.
Herbert Mullen,
Yes.
and
It
he
can
was
be
definitely hearing
dangerous, man.
voices, dude. If you're doing a lot of it, and he had money, so I'm sure he was doing a lot of LSD.
That's right.
That explains the voices.
That explains the voices very much so.
Yep.
Yeah.
The psychiatrist for the defense supported the claim, as we said, but the psychiatrist for the prosecution, Dr. Harold Zolan, proved that DeFeo suffered from antisocial personality disorder. The illness made him the defendant aware of his actions, but motivated by a self-centered attitude. I'd say that's accurate.
That's pretty damn accurate. Not a very good diagnosis there, doctor.
I think we could really kind of side with both psychiatrists, because the psychiatrist for the defense saying that he was suffering from dissociative disorder and hearing voices, that could be explained by the LSD. I believe that, but then also the psychiatrist for the prosecution saying that it was motivated by a self-centered attitude, I would say also. I think he was trying to get paid out by life insurance and shit too. You know, we know he liked money
Right.
and wanted more of it, and his parents were in the way of that. Jurors agreed with the assessment, and on November 21st, 1975, they found DeFeo guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences and sent to Greenhaven Correctional Facility in Beekman, New York. His appeals to the parole board have all been turned down. He still sits in prison right now. He's still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, and so after his imprisonment, several novels and films appeared about the slayings. First of them titled The Amityville Horror, A True Story, which is the book we read for this. And this is where we get into, there's obviously a lot of movies and stuff like that. But the book that we got, and we wanted to talk about the Lutz family's experiences after moving into this home where this whole family of the DeFeos were murdered. The account followed the Lutz family who lived in the DeFeo house after the murders. The story detailed alleged true stories of poltergeists that terrorized the Lutz family. Let's get into this. Let's get into the paranormal side of this.
Let's get into this discussion because
We had true crime, and now let's have not so true ghost stories.
Not so true happenings.
Yeah. In December 1975, George and Kathleen Lutz would purchase the property for $80,000, considered a bargain at the time. They were informed of the house's dark history before making the final decision to buy the Dutch colonial home. Now, whether or not they were oblivious to that, even going into making the offer, can be speculated about. There's some talk that George Lutz dabbled in some occult stuff prior to this, and we speculated a little bit that maybe he was looking at this as an opportunity to live there, buy a house at a bargain, sell it later for more, and also to like make up some shit and write a book about it.
Yeah, it's a great plan. People are more brilliant than what you give them credit for, especially when it comes to greed.
Right. But the book would lead you to believe. The book said that the true story is that they didn't know. They just saw this house that fit everything they wanted. It was a little bit out of their price range. But because he worked for like a land I think he either had his own land surveying company or he worked for land. He did like land surveying for construction, and it was a little slow. There wasn't a lot of construction going on.
Right.
He wasn't making a lot of money. At least not. This house was kind of out of their. Even still, as cheap as it was still like beyond anything they ever thought they would get, and he was still immediately stressed out about all the bills associated with a place like this.
Right.
The family consisted of George and Kathleen's 3 children from a previous marriage. So George was the stepfather. They had a son, Daniel, 9 years old, a son, Christopher, who was 7, and a daughter named Melissa, that went by Missy. She was 5 years old, and she would play a large role in a lot of this stuff because she was like directly communicating with at least one demon in this household that was in the shape of a pig form.
Right. A very impressionable child at 5 years old.
Which is so like horror movie, right? Like it's always the kids that
it's
are
a
like
pig with glowing eyes.
It's always the youngest daughter that's like friends with the demon.
Okay. Right.
Every time.
Well, first off, pigs are creepy. Okay. Pigs are
especially
demon
pigs
creepy,
with red eyes,
and they eat anything. She could have saw a pig like eating another pig. Who knows? And she was like, "Oh my God, that's terrible." You know, they lived out in farmland and stuff, right, on the lake.
Yeah.
Kinda. So who knows? And then she could have put those two together. I know my 6-year-old, man, she comes up with some crazy stuff she's afraid of. She'd just be making stuff up, man, just from videos and stuff in their subconscious.
Yeah, exactly. They also owned a crossbreed Malamute and Labrador dog named Harry, who was a badass, alert, like watchdog that George loved to have around because he would basically sleep outside. He had his own doghouse, and the dog, like anything in the middle of the night, any movements, the dog would immediately let them be aware of someone creeping around. And that played a role in driving George nuts because the dog would always be seeing stuff in the middle of the night. And then eventually the dog just started getting real sleepy and didn't see a damn thing anymore because the demons supposedly kind of like put some spell on the dog to like make him drugged up.
Okay, I have another theory. When the dog first gets there, it doesn't know its surroundings, so it's probably suspicious and on edge of everything. So it barks at everything at first. And then once it realizes that those sounds are just waves crashing in the lake or boats going by or whatever, then they'll be like, oh, it's just normal things. And they get used to it and they calm down.
Yeah. All right.
Mystery solved.
Explained.
You're
How
welcome.
about the boathouse door always coming unlocked after he locks it George's behavior gets crazy.
His kids were probably going in there when he wasn't looking.
Right?
Easy. Next.
Definitely not a pig demon. Pigs, they have hoofs. How can they unlock anything?
Pigs can't even look up, you know?
They don't even have thumbs, fucker.
Yeah. You ever seen a pig on his 2 back legs? That'd be crazy.
Stupid.
Just trying to open a door.
Their tiny little legs trying to carry that fat body. It's just not going to work.
Get
Like,
outta
I'll
here with
outrun a demon pig all day.
that. Hell yeah. I'll take a bunch of sharp turns.
Right.
Fucking pig. Probably fall over.
They're so unbalanced.
They are. They're so top heavy.
Yeah. The Lutz family moved in December 19th, 1975. Much of the DeFeo family's furniture was still in the house because it was included for $400. Yeah, so George Lutz, not only did he supposedly, according to the story, he was like us, like ghosts, demons. This is him telling the story. He's saying, I don't believe in any of that crap. At least I didn't then.
Yeah.
When we bought this house, and so much to the point where he even bought like the beds from the estate, like the DeFeo estate, like they were on hold, but you could like they were available for purchase with the home or whatever.
Yeah.
He had them like brought out of storage, like the fucking beds that the families were murdered in. Like, to me, that says like this dude wanted this shit as like artifacts because he was into this. Like, Who the fuck? Even if you don't believe in ghosts, it's still disgusting to buy a bed that someone was fucking shot in.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's just not.
It's just not right. You just don't do that.
Still uneasy.
He bought like all this shit. I think he wanted to turn this place into a museum or something.
You got it. That's a backup plan. That's a backup plan. You know, if it all fails, at least you could come in and feel creeped out, you know?
Yep.
But it turned out better than he expected, I imagine.
Yeah. So the family, after they've discovered that there was this family that was murdered in the home, they thought, we don't really believe in ghosts and whatnot, but we probably should have our priest. They had a priest that the book used the surname or whatever, the fake name of Father Mancuso. What really his real name was disguised. You can find it if you're so inclined, but I'm not going to say it on here because obviously the guy wants to remain private. But the book called The Priest, Father Mancuso, played quite a big role in this. The family calls him up and asks if he would come bless the home, considering the prior events that had occurred there. He had a busy schedule. He was a lawyer, judge of the Catholic court, and psychotherapist who lived at a local Sacred Heart rectory. He agreed to take some time out of his busy schedule, stop by, and give a quick blessing to the home. He arrived to perform the blessing while George and Kathy were unpacking their belongings on the afternoon of December 18th and went into the home alone to carry out the business while they were unloading boxes and everything. He starts walking around, and he walks into a room on the second floor and flicks the first bit of holy water and began to pray when he says he heard from clearly right behind him. It sounded like someone was standing directly behind him with a very loud voice say, "Get out!"
Yeah.
It
And
shook
he
him.
was by himself, right?
Yes, he was
Okay.
by himself.
All right, go
And
ahead.
supposedly he'd never experienced anything like that, even as a priest, and was quite shaken from it. He didn't tell the family, left shortly after. He after experiencing a constant pestering, so he leaves the home, and he's getting a constant bad feeling about that room that he was in where he heard that. And he ends up calling George Lutz and advising him to stay out of that second room floor where he had heard the second floor room where he had heard the mysterious voice. It turned out it was the former bedroom of Mark and John Matthew DeFeo, I guess two of the male siblings
Right.
that Ronald had killed. Kathy planned to use the room as a sewing room, but the call ended up being cut short by static. That's something that went ongoing throughout this book and the whole supposed true story of the Lutz family's experience
Yeah, a
living
lot
there.
of miscommunication, which really helped tell this story.
Every time they tried to talk to their priest, if the priest would call them or they would call the priest, either the phone would ring off the hook for the person calling, but the other person would not hear the phone ring, or they would actually get into contact with each other briefly before a large crackling, like static sound would cut the phone call short. That was
They
ongoing.
probably just had bad reception.
Right.
Dude, we have that all the
I
time.
don't know. Landlines back in the 70s are pretty solid, though, dude.
Landline.
It's not like.
Well, yeah, maybe. But you know what?
Yeah.
If it happens once or it happens twice, they're going to say it happened all the time, and it probably
Yeah.
really didn't.
Yeah.
Also, maybe this is just the white person in me, but if I heard a voice or something like that, the first thing I'm going to do is holler at somebody else to come listen and see if they hear it. That's just what I
Yeah.
would do. You know what I mean? Because I'm being suspicious. I'm going to be like, I didn't really hear that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever. I'm going to be like, hey, Lauren, come here. Come here.
Yeah,
Just
but
be
of course
quiet.
the demon's not gonna say shit now. They're a little bashful when it comes to crowds.
Well, he should speak up. You know? I mean, he's got superpowers. It's two
Right.
people against superpowers now, you know?
Exactly.
We got to solve this problem.
Yeah. So following the visit to the house, Father Mancuso allegedly developed a high fever and blisters on his hands similar to a stigmata. At first, George and Kathy experienced nothing unusual in the house. It didn't take long, however, for things to get crazy at the 112 Ocean Avenue home and go from strange to straight terrifying for them. So Father Mancuso, he was like on death's door following this. His fever got up to like 104, and he was basically hospitalized and thought he was going to die. And also he had like blisters on his hands. That every time he talked to George over the phone, his blisters would get worse, and he knew this was that he had supposedly come in contact with the dark, dark spirits.
Or
and,
he needs to disinfect that phone, bro. Like, what the hell?
right.
He's got some shitty bacteria on that phone. And
Yeah, he
maybe
thinks
those
every time he's
blisters
talking
on
to
his-
George, it's the demons, but his phone,
his phone's all
filthy
fucking
as
it's
shit.
like crawling with bacteria. He's just like, I don't know, George. I'm gonna have to hang up. My hand is burning.
Yeah. Talking about their experiences subsequently, the Lutz family reported that it was as if they were living each in a different home because they all had such different experiences. So let's go through let's go through the bullet points, some of the experiences that they had at the Lutz family that were described throughout this book. George never really got a full night's sleep ever during that entire 28 days they lived there. Every single morning he would wake up at 3:15 a.m. And he would go out and look out the window to check out the boathouse. He was drawn to the boathouse. He was obsessed with the boathouse, and he never really figured out what it was about the boathouse that did this. But it's also was estimated that 3:15 a.m. was about the time of the murders that Ronald killed his family.
Right.
So odd that George started waking up at 3 a.m. and he started looking just like Ronald DeFeo. The longer he was there, he stopped shaving. He didn't shower like the entire 28 days he was there. He started basically becoming like the crazy Ronald DeFeo that killed his family. The house was plagued by swarms of flies in the winter weather that would like all gather up on this one windowsill. The book described that several times, and George was just like, how could this be? Like, flies die out. They only live for a short period, and then when winter comes, they die off. Like, how could they be here? on this window that's leading to the outside. The window's cold, the window pane, because it was like leading to the outside during winter.
Once again, another problem that probably could be solved with a little caulk. Go around your windows, keep
Little
the flies
caulk and
out.
disinfectant as well.
And just if the flies are coming in because it's warm, man, you're gonna have them even when winter changes. If your house is warm and not sealed.
Right. What was it? Oh, was it a Flexi spray or some shit? What was that shit called?
You're still trying
Flex
to think
Seal.
of that?
Flex Seal.
Is it
That's what it
Flex
was.
Seal?
Flex Seal.
Okay. Yeah, get a little Flex Seal around your windows, and it'll keep the flies out, man. God, easy peasy.
Swarms of flies around your windows? Get your Flexi Seal.
Right. Don't leave old fruit in your house.
Yeah.
Shit
Demon
like that.
pigs come in through a small hole in your...
Your daughter's closet? There's a
Yeah.
little Flex Seal.
Yeah. Some more things that occurred. Kathy had vivid nightmares about the murders and discovered the order in which they occurred and the rooms in which they took place without looking into them or looking through reports. And a lot of the stuff that she found out supposedly was never even reported to the public or media. Like
Right.
she determined how they were killed, that they were laying face down, and like that stuff supposedly wasn't even like public knowledge. The Let's children also began sleeping on their stomachs. That creeped me out. The book got me on that one. The fact that like the mom goes in to check on them and she's like they're sleeping on their stomachs and they never did that before. That kind of creeped me out.
Why? They
I
probably
don't know,
just
dude.
did that like once or twice.
Yeah, I get.
Never
It's
big
the
deal.
Halloween season. I've been listening to this. It's like, I don't know. It's just kind of got to me. I drive to work and it's dark already. I'm going down the mountain and I was listening to this audiobook all week and it's just like, I had just woken up. It's dark and I'm listening to this eerie shit and it was just kind of, there was times where I would get chills. Kathy would feel a sensation as if being embraced in a loving manner by an unseen force. So yeah, she'd like be sitting down in the kitchen at the table alone.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she'd feel like a mother's embrace from behind, like grabbing her shoulders.
Why is that so bad?
I know, right?
That
Get a
sounds
free
that actually
massage.
sounds kind of nice. You just sit in this one chair and something hugs you. It's like, okay. Now they give me coffee and I'm ready for work.
Michael, you're such a hater of the paranormal, man. You should do a YouTube show where you
No,
like
I'm not.
make fun of those paranormal discovery people where they go and you just everything they do, you just like stop the tape and like make fun of them.
Oh my God, if I had endless time, man.
Right. George discovered a small hidden room around 4 by 5 feet behind shelving in the basement. The walls were painted red and the room did not appear in the blueprints of the house. There was nothing in there, just red walls. And the room came to be known as the Red Room. The room had a profound effect on the dog Harry, who refused to go near it and cowered as if sensing something ominous. And also, he brought his wife down there at one point. George brought Kathleen down there and showed her the Red Room.
Mm-hmm.
And then supposedly, like as they were closing the door, he saw a face on the wall. Not knowing what the face, like who the face was, he
Right.
then later saw a picture when he looked into records of this house. He finally got creeped out enough that he like went to the county and like looked up public records and like looked up the news clippings of the murders and all that and saw a picture of Ronald DeFeo and he was like, that was the face I saw on the wall.
Why would Ronald
course.
DeFeo be down there?
I don't know,
Doesn't
man.
make any
Maybe that was
sense.
his Red Room. Maybe he installed it and he liked the Red Room, man. Maybe
You know
it
what?
calmed him down.
Oh God, that would red though. I think you go insane in there.
Yeah, well, he was already insane, so maybe if you're already insane, it's like comforting.
Oh, fair enough. But you know what? I was talking to my wife about this because I was talking about ghosts and stuff, and I was like, it's not too crazy to believe, especially like these old houses back in the day. They had a lot of dead space in them. Like the walls are very wide.
Oh yeah, no, and the old like
There's-
old homes that are big, like these old colonial style homes. There's a lot of
Yes.
like noises that just occur, like creaky floors, like
Yeah,
like,
how
pipes in the
crazy
walls.
is it to
and-
believe in these extreme haunting cases where they got proof of things that happened or whatever? How crazy is it to think that somebody was just living in there? I mean,
Oh,
they
God.
could move around. They keep.
Have you ever seen the YouTube? Like, there's you can look them up, but like there's at least a few occurrences where I've seen where people were living in someone's like attic for years before the people knew, and then like they finally had they knew stuff was off because they'd come out in the morning and like shit in the kitchen would be rearranged or like food would be missing.
Yeah.
And so there was one case where the person finally decided to set up like a camera inside their living room. and this fucker was coming down like through the attic and like full on living in the house watching TV, fucking like, eating the food on the kitchen, cooking shit while the dude was sleeping.
See, that's what I'm saying. Back in the day, they didn't have cameras, man. They would have been like, ghost, the TV's on.
Yeah.
You know, and this person's just hiding behind the curtains like, oh, fuck. Why'd they never get up at this hour?
Exactly. Yeah, no, there's something to that. That's possible. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be common, but neither is those stories of people coming out and saying that they experienced all this shit, voices and noises, and it's like, yeah, that's about as uncommon as someone living in your attic, but also possible.
Exactly.
Let's go through more of this. There were cold spots and odors of perfume and excrement in areas of the house where no wind drafts or piping would explain the source. So yeah, when George went down to the red room at one point, he said that there was an overpowering stench of human shit, basically. And that's something that's pretty common. The red room was where the septic was pumped out. There was like actually a little septic lid there. That's what he was smelling.
Right. This red meant stop. Don't go in here. You'll
die.
It'd be so
of
funny
carbon
if
dioxide.
like
all of this shit. It'd be so funny if all of this shit was totally explainable. Like, yeah, you're a dumbass. That's where we pumped the septic. Of course it smelled like shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, man.
So the perfume thing too, the wife, we talked about how she would feel the embrace of this ghost like touching her. Mm-hmm. That came along every time it came along with this perfume, like this old lady perfume. So it was like there was like an older woman that was embracing her, and she would smell the perfume first, and then she would know, she'd get anxiety like, I'm about to be touched by a ghost again.
Or her perfume was just embedded in the mattress that you had pulled out of storage because you're a freaking weirdo.
Yeah, you're a creep that buys beds from people being shot on them.
Jesus.
Yeah. While tending to the fire, George and Kathy saw the image of a demon with half its head blown out. It was burned into the soot in the back of the fireplace, supposedly. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. George was always freezing cold, and like he was always fucking with the furnace and constantly stoking the fire. They went through like a whole winter's worth of firewood in like a week.
Yeah.
Because he just could not get warm.
That house wasn't insulated well, because how could the people that live there move through the walls? Duh.
All right, explained.
All right.
On to the next thing Michael's going to explain. The Lutz's 5-year-old daughter, Missy, developed an imaginary friend named Jody, a demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. Well, kids have imaginary friends. That one's easily explainable.
Already, too. Pigs are creepy.
Yeah. In the early morning hours of Christmas Day, 1975, George looked up at the house after checking on the boathouse and saw Jody, the demon pig, standing behind Missy at her bedroom. That part fucking creeped me out. I'm not going to lie. In the book, when he looked up and he saw the demon pig standing behind his daughter, that part creeped me out a bit. When he ran up to the room, he found her fast asleep with her small rocking chair slowly rocking back and forth by the window.
So she was in her room the whole time?
She was sleeping the whole time.
Yeah, so how was she out there in the dark?
No, she was standing in the window when he looked up and saw her with the demon pig standing behind her.
Standing in the window. Mm-hmm. Okay.
George would wake up to the sound of the front door slamming. He would race downstairs to find the dog sleeping soundly at the front door. Nobody else heard the sound, although it was loud enough to wake the house. Also, there were several times where the door was completely busted off the hinges. He had to have repairmen come out and fix the front door, which he couldn't afford at the moment because he was obviously over his head with this house.
Now, when they're saying front door, are they talking about like storm door, like a screen door?
No, the front door to the
wind
home.
Here?
No, the front, like the legitimate front door of the home was like off the hinges, like someone had kicked it in. But the one time it was damaged from the inside as if someone was trying to get out. Like someone was trying to pry the door open from the inside, which even the repairman found very odd. George, that part creeped me out a little bit too.
Yeah.
I needed you there with me, Michael, to sit here and go, that's bullshit. I was actually
I'm trying to help you out with that one, but that one's kind of creepy to myself.
Right. George would hear what was described as a marching band tuning up, or what sounded like a clock radio playing not quite on frequency. When he went downstairs, the noise would cease. So there's like a marching band like playing music down in the living room, and no one else would hear it. And then he would get to the stairs and look down there, and there's nothing. And he couldn't hear anything once he got to the point where he should be able to hear it.
Dude in the attic was probably playing like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band or something. And then he would turn it down every time he heard them coming.
That part reminds me. A lot of this reminds me a bit of The Shining too, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of classic haunting stuff in both of these stories.
The band part specifically, because like there was times where he would walk into that big ballroom and like there would be a full-on party going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like no one else could see it.
Right. Like Ghost Ship. Remember that movie?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Oh.
Ghost Ship?
Yeah. Where that metal line like snaps and cuts the whole boat in half, including like everyone, and then it's. Like,
I do kind of remember that.
Then those people go and explore it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I'm on there. Yeah. So we talked about how he had stopped showering and grown his beard had gotten long and all that, and he started realizing that he bore a strong resemblance to Ronald DeFeo Jr. And he also caught himself drinking at the Witch's Brew, the same bar in which DeFeo was a regular customer, and the same bar that DeFeo went to after murdering his family.
It's probably the closest to the house.
And it actually creeped that, yes, but they creeped the bartender out because he was like deja vu, like it was DeFeo coming back in again. And then especially creeped him out when he found out that this guy that came in looking like DeFeo was actually living at the DeFeo house.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
When closing Missy's window, which Missy said Jody climbed out of, Kathy saw red eyes glowing at her.
Yeah, animals' eyes glow at night. It's probably like a raccoon or something.
Bat,
or
maybe.
A squirrel, or maybe a bat, yeah.
While in bed, Kathy received red welts on her chest caused by an unseen force and was levitated 2 feet in the air. Explain that one, Michael.
Who saw her?
George did. There were several times throughout the book.
Did Kathy know about it?
There were several times that they described watching each other float, and they actually would have to get up and grab their spouse and pull them back down to the bed, at which point they would become knocked out and not remember what had occurred.
I mean, that's interesting to me, but it could just be that one or the other got up to go to the bathroom.
They were trying to sell a book.
And then
could
they
be
were
that they're lying and they're trying to sell a book.
Yeah. It could be that as well.
That's the only explanation, because if it actually happened, then there's no explaining that.
No, you're right. There's no explaining that.
Yeah. They're not fucking Chris Angel, you know?
That's right. Only Chris Angel.
There's only one Chris Angel.
Right.
I mean, come on.
What about David Blaine? I think he can levitate as well.
Yeah, he's a hack.
Is he?
Actually, I think Chris Angel's way more of a hack than David Blaine is.
David Blaine actually works on the thing.
David Blaine does some cool shit, whereas Chris Angel's literally just a hack. He just literally, it's all freaking camera trickery.
It's cameras and
actors.
angles and actors, yeah.
Locks, doors, and windows in the house were damaged by an unseen force. Cloven hoof prints attributed to an enormous pig appeared in the snow outside the house on January 1st, 1976. Could have actually just been a pig, I mean.
Also, there was no snow that day. Looked it up.
You did? January 1st, 1976?
Yes.
In Amityville,
yes.
New York? Really? You looked it up?
I looked it up, man. No snow that day.
All right.
And almost every
Michael looked it up, guys.
Documentary and things like that, they also mentioned that as well. So I looked it up myself, and I was like, well, let me just see.
Well, you know what, Michael? It was a long 28 days, okay? So maybe they got one of the days mixed up.
Yeah.
Green gelatin-like slime oozed from the walls in the hall and also from the keyhole of the playroom door in the attic.
Your kids were probably throwing Jell-O around. Right? Who hasn't thrown a little Jell-O in their life?
Yeah.
You feel me?
It's oozing from the keyhole, though? I mean,
yeah, they throw it through the keyhole. Or they're like, I'm tired of my little sister looking in my room. Let me put a little Jell-O in here. You know?
That's another thing that Flexi Seal will fix.
That's oh god, it's just solving all the problems here, man.
Yeah, is your sister breaking into your room? Flexi Seal. No key will ever work again.
Exactly.
A 12-inch crucifix hung in the living room by Kathy revolved until it was upside down and gave off a sour smell. That's pretty creepy.
They probably hung it up where it wasn't balanced. The kid hit a wall in the other room, spun. There you go. The odor. It's an old house. It's gonna have tons of fucking odors. My house is old. I smell weird stuff all the time. You know?
All right. Not ghosts, bro.
Okay.
George tripped over a 4-foot-high China lion ornament in the living room and found bite marks on one of his ankles. Later, the lion would reappear in the living room after George had moved it back upstairs into the sewing room. So this China lion kept kind of reappearing in different locations at creepy times, and it also bit his ankle, apparently.
No. Dude, no, that didn't happen. That's bullshit. He probably just scratched it on the lion. He needs to watch where he's going. And also, if his kids saw that and they like that little thing, because kids like expensive, shiny things, like especially a lion made of china.
Oh, for sure. You got
They were-
3 kids,
they
3
were
young children. They're
watching
moving.
you-
They're moving
Yeah.
stuff around. And
Hell
what
yeah.
if the kids realized that like they could creep their parents out and they were doing all this? They were just fucking doing everything. Like Missy when she was supposedly standing in the window when he was out at the boathouse and he saw her in the window.
Mm-hmm.
Like what if like she stared at him to creep him out and then by the time he got up there she like jumped back in bed, acted like she was asleep, and she moved the rocking chair so it was rocking when he came in.
Absolutely possible.
It sounds
Absolutely
like
possible.
fun shit to really torment your parents. Like
Or,
that, you know?
or she was standing in the rocking chair looking out the window,
Oh yeah.
and then when she jumped
she was
out
only
of the
5.
rocking chair, it's already shaking.
Oh shit! Dad saw me. I'm up late when I shouldn't be.
Yep. Let me run back over here. Never mind the rocking chair rocking over there. He probably won't notice that.
And the red demon eye pig behind her. He had no sleep. He was up every
No
morning
sleep.
at 3 a.m. He never slept in that 28 days. I mean, he could have been seeing all kinds of shit.
That's right. And he's just
Yeah.
getting more and more paranoid as it goes. If any of this is true, carry on, Lauren.
Oh, this part creeped me out. George saw Kathy transform into an old woman of 90 years old. Quote, the hair wild, a shocking white, the face a mass of wrinkles and ugly lines and saliva dripping from the toothless mouth.
Okay, did George do any psychedelics?
No,
Probably.
was he hitting some of Ronald's LSD that he found?
Probably. Because
He found it in the red room. He found the LSD. That's what the red room was,
Right.
his drug room. That was Ronald's drug room, and fucking George got into that. He found the stash. He found the secret stash
And
down in the
that's-
red room, dude.
and that's why I
That's why
told
you would want a
everybody
red
else.
room. You're doing LSD and shit.
And then
That's
he
where
was
he was tripping balls is down in the red room.
That's right. And then he was probably like, and then George saw that opportunity, and he was like, "Whoa, no one needs to come down here. No, it's just full of drugs and shit. All kinds of like trippy posters of melting paintings and shit.
Right. It's like a record player with fucking Pink Floyd playing.
There's like strobe lights in the corners. Yo, guys, listen, it's horrid. Just stay out of here. It's
Right. We're almost done with the crazy stuff that occurred, supposedly, according to the Lutz family. Missy would sing constantly while in her room. Whenever she left the room, she would stop singing, and upon returning, she would resume singing where she left off. Okay, so she was comfortable in her room and liked to sing alone. I mean, the little girls do that.
yeah.
On one occasion, Kathy heard what sounded like a window being opened and closed through the sewing room door, even though she was sure no one was in there. And the straw that broke the camel's back essentially was the final night they stayed there was just this crazy attack by the demons in which they both Kathy and George were levitated. All of the doors on the dressers and everything were being slammed. The marching band was playing down in the living room. And then at one point the two sons came in and said, Dad, you got to help us. There's somebody in our room. And he couldn't get out of bed because he was physically being held down by demons. And when he finally forced the demon off of him and ran into the hallway, this hooded figure with red eyes was staring at him. And that's when they said that they left that night, jumped in the car, and basically took off to Kathleen's mother's house, in which they thought they were free. And then that night they experienced more, and they realized the demons were following them. And I guess they moved to California where it was finally far enough away from the demons to get to them. And that's when they wrote the book and whatnot.
Right. In LA, where movies are made.
Right? This is where we're going to go to sell our book.
Yeah.
we need
exactly.
we need to find a
What a coincidence.
big wig author
That's
or
right.
publisher out in LA.
Right. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
On January 14th, 1976, George and Kathy Lutz, with their 3 children and their dog Harry, left 112 Ocean Avenue, leaving all of their possessions behind. The next day, a mover arrived to remove the possessions to send the Lutzes. He reported no paranormal phenomena while inside the house. Their son, Daniel Lutz, who lives a quiet life in Queens, New York to this day as a stones mason, claims the house ruined his life and that he continues to have nightmares to this day. The Amityville house officially sold on February 2017 to an undisclosed owner for $605,000, which was $200,000 less than the original asking price. It had been previously owned by 4 other families since the murders, one of which had the address changed to 108 Ocean Avenue, as it originally stood at 112 Ocean Avenue. So
Now, didn't the very next guy that moved in though claimed no paranormal activity?
Yeah, none of the other families. It was just the Lutzes that.
Yeah, that's.
But
that's
supposedly,
crazy. That
like the whole the book explained that off a little bit, saying like paranormal things can be drawn away, pushed away if like certain things about the home are changed. Like if you change the paint on the walls, you move the furniture, like things like that. Maybe the fact that the Lutzes like kept the same furniture that the family was murdered in and like didn't change anything about the house. Maybe that kept the demons there. I don't know. But what's important to note, though, obviously, we think that this most likely, because we're realists, most likely the Lutzes were full of shit and then they just wanted to make money. Because fact checking website Snopes has gone so far as to concluding that the claim the Amityville Horror book and subsequent films based on true events is entirely false. Snopes notes that Butch DeFeo's lawyer, William Weber, admitted that he, along with the Lutzes, created this horror story over many bottles of wine in the hopes of gaining a new trial for his client. So they both had something to gain. So DeFeo's lawyer had something to gain by potentially getting his client off on insanity, and then obviously the Lutzes had something to gain from this book that sold millions of copies.
Exactly, and this is one of those cases, man, where you can believe what you want to believe. There's plenty of evidence to back it up that the house was definitely creepy. There's some weird shit that goes along with it, but then on the other hand, there's also tons of evidence that would suggest that it's all bullshit. It's all made up. It's all conspiracy, and a spoiled brat killed his family, and we've seen it before with the Menendez brothers, and it's many more cases that we probably don't even know about.
Exactly.
It's not. I mean, it is rare. Don't get me wrong, but it's not crazy.
That being said, you know what? If you love the Halloween season, it's not too late, and you love horror movies, and you like the ghost stuff, whether you believe or not, or even it's just fun. Like this book was fun for me. It really got, like I said, me into the creepy Halloween season.
Absolutely.
And I highly recommend the book. Just keep in mind, it says true story, but I mean, that's really take that with a grain of salt,
Exactly.
But just get into it, like absorb it, like tell your mind it's real, and like put yourself in the position of the Lutz at that time, the Lutz family.
Buy in.
And enjoy it. It was fun. It 100%. Was a fun read, man. I enjoyed it. So, with that being said, I mean, that was the Amityville Horror case. We hope you guys enjoyed it. It was just something a little bit different. We like to do a little bit, like, I remember Halloween, I think it was 2 years ago, we did the Slenderman case, right? And people still love that one. And that had a lot of the same type of vibe to it, paranormal stuff, with a real crime involved as well. So,
yep.
All right, let's get to our sponsors, man. Oh my Gaia, we got some care packages this week, Michael, and I have a new favorite scent, Sailor.
Ooh.
Speaking of speedboats, Sailor.
Dude, I haven't got mine yet. It's on the way. Wendy said mine's on the way, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to the incense.
I got my incense. Did you get your incense?
Not yet. I need them. I burn incense constantly for obvious reasons.
It's a great new...
If you don't,
great new thing that Oh My Guy has to offer is incense.
Right. And if you have no idea what Oh My Guy is, if this is the very first episode of True Crime Guys that you've listened to, because that's probably the only reason you wouldn't know, right? Oh My Guy is an innovative all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while maintaining effectiveness. At Oh My Gaia, they use only all-natural, paraben, and aluminum-free organic ingredients. And like Lauren said, she's adding new scents all the time. Just added Sailor, which I have yet to smell, but you like it?
It's epic, dude. It's absolutely my favorite. I don't even wear the other ones now.
Does it smell like the open seas?
No, it's
no.
It's just it's a bit manly. I would say it's more on the masculine side.
Right.
But man, yeah, I love it. My wife loves it on me. It's good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, if Sailor's not for you, there's plenty more, guys. There's vanilla, cherry almond, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, Egyptian musk, coconut, dreamsicle, leather, lumberjack, honeysuckle, fireside. And we have our very own scent, which also comes in
drives away demons. It drives away demons, by the way.
Yeah, and it comes in incense. So now you don't have to wave your armpits at demons. You can actually light an incense, and it's a little more...
Oh, my God. You're so correct about that.
Right. It's a little more...
So if you're listening to the Amityville Horror book that we recommended, and you're a little creeped out at night listening to it, just light a True Crime Pine incense. You'll be good to go.
Exactly. And because you're True Crime Guys listeners, if you use the word creeper, CREEPER, you can get 15% off your order at ohmygaia.com. That's OHMYGAIA.com at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram. Do it, peeps.
That's what's up.
That's it.
Do it. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Robbie, it was his birthday the other day, and he texted me that he finally got some Oh My Gaia. His girlfriend Savannah got him some Oh My Gaia for his birthday. He got some lumberjack, and he's loving it. So yeah, shout out Robbie. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
And speaking of shout outs, man, it's time to shout out all of the faithful creepers that are listening to the podcast and that have taken the time to go write and review us on iTunes, man. We really appreciate it.
So grateful for that, guys.
Yeah, seriously. They keep rolling in, man. I'm always blown away. Because, like, even if we take a break, which we need to be more consistent, obviously shit happens. I've been moving, and then we lost an episode and all that. So we're still trying to stay consistent with the guys. But we still keep, like, new people keep finding us because of our old episodes and stuff. And it's just crazy to see all these new reviews rolling in all the time still. It still blows me away. So I want to thank all of you guys. I'm pulling them up right now. Hold on. So we got, and all the fire emojis have been crazy too.
Hell yeah.
So we got, hopefully I don't miss anybody. We got Rosie, El Rosa, said, keep creeping mofos, from Ross from Cornwall, England. All right, bloke. Thanks for the review. Carry on.
Carry on.
NPK, I don't know what the fuck that means. NPKNO3. Easy to listen to, 5-star review. Thank you. One of my go-to true crime podcasts. Appreciate it. Diane Rhodes said, awesome show, 5 stars. Thank you. Fat Man Diving said, good times, well-researched and produced, 5 stars. Thank you. Emily, with a bunch of E's, M's, I's, L's, and Y's.
Nailed it.
Said, thank you for helping me get through my work almost every day with fire emojis and 5 stars. Hell yeah. Redmond Fantapants. Said 5 stars, great podcast, great, but would be even better if you guys didn't talk over the top of each other. Yeah, well, I think we've gotten a little better with that.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't have it all, really.
It's really episode to episode. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad.
Well, it's also the earlier episodes. It just depends on when people are leaving reviews. Because a lot of people leave reviews and be like, oh, they talked for 15 minutes before they got to the show. It's like, well, we don't do that. And we haven't done that in probably
like
60
10.
episodes. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Fields D 2009, 5 stars, said keeps me laughing, feeds my need for true crime. Thank you. Indiana 9 left a bunch of fire emojis and 5 stars. Thank you. Keegan H4, 5 stars. Love the show. Thank you. A bunch of fire emojis as well. Free Ride 62 left a 4-star review. I think for about a 4-star podcast, I'm fine with that. You still get a shout out. Great show. I'm pretty sure these guys are high. Yay for that.
How was that not 5 stars?
Shanna, you better go fix that. Make it 5 now. Come on.
Yeah.
Shanna 29, 5 stars. Love these guys. Thank you. Elaine, 5 stars. Laugh, cry, and intense. Thank you. Carolina Crazies. There you go, Michael. Great podcast. Thank you. Ninsko left a 5-star review. Thank you. Great mix of grim facts and funny riffing. Love it.
Appreciate that.
Aries for Life, 5 stars. Fire emojis. They said, I want a shout out. By the way, I love being called a freeloader. You guys are the best. I wish you could hear me talking to y'all in the car.
I wish we could too.
We got to, you know what? Shout out to those of you who are cool with being called freeloaders. You know, you get the joke. You don't take yourself too serious. We love that.
Thank you. Too many people taking themselves way too serious nowadays.
And then finally, Cassie Paris said, Binge City, 5 stars. 3rd podcast I've binged. Last podcast on the left, and My Favorite Murder, and now True Crime Guys. That's a hell of a group to be in.
That's good company right there.
We're flattered for that. And man, that about does it, man. Happy Halloween, everybody. We record next week, but by then, Halloween will have already happened, right? It's Thursday, so we won't record till Sunday morning. So yeah, have a great Halloween, guys. Have a nice, safe one. If you take your kids out, keep them close. Don't get them snatched up.
That's right. If they get any edibles in their candy, just sort them out for them and send them to me. Just message me, and I'll tell you guys where you can dispose of them properly.
Right.
All right. We good?
All right, guys. Yeah, we're good, man. Keep creeping. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
All right, keep creeping, guys.
True crime guys, in the desert we like a mirage. It's okay if you clicked on us cause you thought we was True Crime Garage. Now we ain't mad at you. Sit down, let us talk at you. I'm talking to the creeper army. We out here making murder, get murder, get murder. True crime guys, in the desert we like a mirage. It's okay if you clicked on us cause you thought we was True Crime Garage. Now we ain't mad at you. Sit down, let us talk at you. I'm talking to the creeper army. We we out here making murder charming.